Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've done any kind of video really that is not about TF2 or I think I did one mix a while ago. I can't really remember. It's early in the morning right now. But today I'm going to be showing you the functionality of this fucking thing with Traktor 2, which is what it's really designed to be used for. So a little bit of info about this is like I said, when you first get your mix deck, it comes with a copy of Traktor LE. I'm not sure if they've updated that since they released Traktor 2, but as far as I know, when I got mine, it came with a copy of Traktor LE, and Traktor LE really, it sucks because it's missing a bunch of the functionality of this. So what I'm really going to do is I'm going to pertain to the functionality of Traktor Pro 2, because that's what I've been using a lot. So I'll kind of point the camera here and hope that you can get a good look at it. If not, just use Google. Fuck off, McAfee. I don't care. Get off my computer. Anyways, so basically it looks the same. The first changes that at least I notice is, especially from the MixLab skin that I was using, is that there's no upper bar for the beat matching. So that's, I don't want to say more difficult. You kind of have to pay a bit more attention to your music. It's not that hard. You still have the same kind of info. Going over the rest of the interface here, you have two FX banks. You've got FX banks 1 and 2. Through options, you can add 2 more, which I think is pretty sweet, and that's really helpful if you're using 4 decks. The other option you have here is a time. It's like it's a picture of a metronome. It lets you set BPM. And then over here you've got a little tape which you can click, and it brings up recording options, and it brings up broadcasting options as well. This, I believe, is a loop recorder or sample recorder. I'm not entirely sure. And then we've got our track decks. So we've got track deck A, track deck B, 1 and 2, whatever you want to call them. In the middle here, however, is where things look a little weird, because right now I've got it set up for the mix deck. So I'm missing a lot of functions. Like in there, I do have a copy on my other laptop, but I'm not going to show you. I have it set up for computer DJing. So in the middle, I've got all those. I've got gains and the FX buttons, so you can choose, like see here how it's 1 and 2, and over there it's just 2. You just choose what effects affect what. But beyond those buttons there and the keys, I've got a full range of. I've got my EQ knobs. I've got gain, or I've got volume sliders, and then I also have a crossfader, which would go kind of right here in between the track listings and the actual mixing part. So yeah, like I just mentioned, this is where all the tracks go. It's really nothing too special. The one thing that I don't like about it compared to, or I wish that it had compared to Virtual DJ, is that Virtual DJ, so when I was in Virtual DJ, if you play a track more, it comes up to the top, so you can always see what tracks don't get played a lot. Here it's all organized by, right now it's organized by track number. I could organize by artist, but it doesn't matter. But what I've also noticed is that Traktor 2 also has the same problems with BPM that Virtual DJ does. Sometimes you have to double it up. But one thing I have noticed that's particular about it is sometimes it doesn't like to record the fact that it's analyzed the song. Alright, so that's basically the functionality, or at least what the UI looks like. Now let's look at some functionality. Back to the mix deck. It's the same setup. If you want to go to use your Traktor, you have to set each deck to USB MIDI. Now, if this is your first time running through it, no problem. There's a really easy setup for this thing, and it pretty much asks you the first time you install this thing. So once you've installed Traktor whatever, and you've got it, make sure you've got your mix deck plugged in. And then when you first run the damn thing, it'll run you through the setup wizard. But if you want to do that on your own, you can go to options here and click setup wizard. Now I'm not going to go through this because there's a bunch of settings that I want to keep. So I will go through and just show you what it is. So just how to set this up. So yes, you are using an external controller. So that's asking for your hardware. Now it's asking for your manufacturer, so you would choose, and I'm not actually going to go through and choose really, but I will just this one. Where is it? I'm using the camera. It's a Numark, whatever. And then here, if you're using vinyl, it gives you an option. It tells you what kind of time code you're using, I would think. So you can use Control S4, which is a Native Instruments thing, and you can use audio 6 and 10 inch audio and vinyl CDs and no time code control. So stuff like that. I'll go next, and then you choose your deck setup and all that, and then you're good to go. So now let's do some basic mixing just to show you what's going on here. So to load tracks is exactly the same. Most of the buttons do the same thing. I've mapped, I believe, only one to do something different. So let's load up some songs here. Let's choose something easy. How about Letting Go by Architect and Coral Beach by Darwin. They're like hand in hand with each other. I don't know why. That's just, they usually seem to come in pairs. So anyways, when you load it up, it looks a little different than Virtual DJ. So here you do have your normal track that'll fly by, and down here you've got your full kind of track bar, so you can see all the different sections. But what you can see is that it's all fucking multicolored. That's a nice, that's a neat setting that that Traktor Pro 2 has. I've got it set to Ultra Spectrum. That's the one. Ultraviolet would be purple or blue or something. But anyways, what it does is it analyzes the track, and especially with the Spectrum one, you get to see it in different colors. You get to see different parts of the song and how intense they are, or at least that's how they rate. So basically, blue areas here, I know it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but that's blue right there. Or actually that's purple. I'm fucking stupid. But right there in the middle under that line is blue. That's kind of like a kick or a clap. I'm not sure right now, but that's probably a clap. And then so we'll just take a look here. As you can see, there's this big red band. That's probably where the bass gets a bit heavy. So that's always good for if you first load up a song, you can check that out and do all that. Play still works as you would expect, but I've got no volume on it. Yeah, they are claps. Okay, so I just played a bit of the song. To go back to the beginning, you have to hit eject, and it'll go back to the beginning. Q is a Q button. No surprise here. What actually does work though is the scratch and search buttons. So I'm going to try and keep my friggin' thing from getting in the way of the camera. So search. We'll let you do that. We'll let you slide through with no problem. Scratch. Lets you scratch. It's good. But so that's those two buttons. Stop and start time, however, let me see. I can't remember which one does which, and I can't remember exactly which one does what. So we'll play the song. Turn the volume down a little bit. Okay, so the start time, what it does is it controls left and right pan. Now, it also brought up an interesting point. It may have something to do with the compatibility of my speakers, although I'm pretty sure they were marketed as the same, like to go with these things. I have on the back here, I may have shown you before, so it's the master. Red's on the bottom, white's on the top, red's on the bottom, white on the top. And over here on my speakers, it's the same thing, red on the bottom, red on the top, white on the bottom. Yep. So either the coloring there is reversed, or there's actually a problem with the way that the music's coming out, because what happened is when I went to pan right with it, it came out the left speaker, but when I panned left, it came out the right speaker. So something to worry about, or maybe not worry about, it doesn't matter too much. And now this one. Oh, that's a filter on there. That's the filter. I just don't know the button to activate it. So filters is always good. Tap's actually useful now, besides getting BPM. It's still used for the same thing, kind of ironically though. When you hit tap, it activates sync. So the way sync works is, right now this one's synced, and if I play it, it becomes the master track. And because it's not the one, and it's not playing now, it's in the master track. Now if I was to press sync on the other deck, they're both synced up. So you can see they're both at 79.97, 79 or 179.97. Now if I was to play this and make it the master, then what would happen is if I start playing this track, and then if I shift over and pause it, this one becomes the master. So basically what it does is it kind of juggles who's got track of the BPM that you want, right? Because here I'm saying that I want this BPM, but then this becomes the master, and if I was to deload letting go, Coral Beach would keep the same track. Now you may have noticed, or may not have, I use the crossfader here to actually switch tracks. We'll get to that in a sec. Bleep and reverse, I think they lost some functionality. Yeah, they don't seem to do anything. I just never use them. FX does the same thing. You've got a wet and dry fader, you've got your parameter knob, and you have your effects select. Now the one thing that I don't like about this is that that there's 3 effects banks right here, or sorry, in this effects bank there's 3, and in this effects bank there's 3, but I can only control one of them with a parameter knob. So what I'm going to probably do is try and figure out a way to use modifiers to be able to control all those. Otherwise I'll just use a keyboard, which would be nice, but I don't really have room for one right now. And then what else do we have to talk about? Loops. Loops are the same. So we're going to do a hot loop here by pressing 1, pressing 2, pressing 3, and then of course you've got your shifter, which shifts the size. Loop out, right? Basic loop stuff. Turn up the bass. So loops, however, I'm not fully aware of their functionality. I don't really use them, so I couldn't explain them best to you. I don't think this pitch does anything. Oh, actually yes. This range button is activating key. I just found that out actually. So press this, it activates key, and I think that syncs it up. I'm not sure. Or it kind of pitch matches more so. So that they sound better together. Like you don't want one song coming up 30 BPM sounding stupid high. So I guess you can pitch correct it. And then yeah, basic track selection. I've got recall mapped to change the effects. Mode will bring you into the folder selection screen. So I'm gonna stay in my track down folder. Little thing about music here is you have a favorite bar, so I can just store my tracks or my music folders really easily. And now on to the mixer. It actually gains quite a bit of functionality. The thing is, now you can actually use it to its full potential because it's routing properly. When Traktor sends out the information, it's not like Virtual DJ. Traktor sends it out in 2 tracks. For instance, we'll play that, and we can just so that's simple, right? It's really simple. It's a lot easier than using this dang thing to crossfade, and it's a lot nicer because you've got more room on it. One note about the crossfader though, this really ticks me off. I'm not sure if there's a fix for this, but with Traktor 2, what's going on with or maybe it may be the Mixdeck itself. It seems to have a sweet spot. So basically, from here up until about there, it's very quiet, and then from here to the middle, that's when you actually start to mix. From here to here, start to mix again, and then it's relatively quiet here. So basically, you have this kind of sweet spot in the middle. It makes the little bit of scratching that I've tried to do, and I'm shitty at it, so don't take my word for this one either. It makes it hard, and mixing becomes a bit of a pain because you kind of have to like micrometer it all the way into the middle and then do your mixing, right? Because it's stupid. What else do we have here? Basic mix it's the rest of the mixer, you know, volume control. This works now, my microphone, or not microphone, I should say, my headphones. So cue volume just like normal, but you can flip it to that, and this works actually now, so it makes mixing a lot better. You can actually hear one track on top of the other. And the rest of the mixer is the same. That's still shoved up because it never gets used. I can't think of anything else to say, really. Oh, right. The problem with this, though, the mixer, it's another problem with the crossfader, kind of. Because the mixer is not MIDI mapped, it will not move a mixer on here. It won't move a crossfader on here. So if you try recording using that nice little record button up there, it's going to record both of your tracks playing as long as they're playing. I tried this. It was strange because like I'd let my song play out until it was done, and I'd be like, no, that's not right. I mixed that out like 2 minutes ago. So what I've had to do is I've been using, to record at least, I've been using the booth port, which is what I use. I don't use the master port. I use the booth port. I don't know why. It just mainly because the master is closer to my speakers, and that cord's kind of tight already. So I wrote an RCA splitter. So I've got a red and white on one end, and it goes to a single output on the other end. It's what you'd use to play music on a speaker like this from an iPod or something, or an auxiliary source. I run that into the headphone jack, and I record it using Audacity. So that's how I've been doing that, or I'm streaming live using my Adobe Media Encoder. So that's some of the big problems with this. The pros. So let me kind of sum up here. The pros with Traktor 2 is it looks pretty. Even though this is the only skin, and this is the only really way that Traktor looks, at least as far as I know. I'm not sure if there are skins. It's got a host more effects. Control is tighter, I would say. It seems better. When you actually learn how to mix with Traktor, you can do a lot more. At least I find. I'm pretty sure you can still do a lot of the same crap with Virtual DJ. I just left that behind because it felt like a kid's toy. Yeah, there's a lot of little things that I probably haven't mentioned that make this good, make this better. So yeah, cons, however, is the no MIDI thing with the Mixdeck here. You suck. I hate you, piece of shit mixer. So that really fucks up the recording. The crossfader does not want to work properly. Like what it should be is this. It should be like 100% of this deck, 0% of this deck. Here it should be like 90% this deck, 10% this deck, and so on and so forth until it's reversed, right? But no, it doesn't want to work that way. Other stupid things is this problem with the panning. I'm not sure if that's a hardware problem or a software problem, or I'm not sure what it is, but it seems to exist. So yeah, that's about it. Recording sucks. Mixer sucks. I will say that this thing, after a year or so now, it's starting to feel like a child's toy. So I'm not sure when I'll be getting an upgrade or anything. Probably not for a while. Thanks for watching, guys. This is I know it didn't turn out like the other review, but it's, in my opinion, still pretty good, especially considering it's impromptu. Like this video, I guess. I don't want to sound like a whore or whatever, but if you can, head over to my Facebook page. I'll leave a link there, and if you give it a like, when I get to 100 fans, I'm going to do a live 2-hour mix, and I'm going to record it and put it up. Of course, it won't be the best, but whatever. And speaking of mixes, I did a half-hour long drum step mix. Not the greatest. The last transition sucks ass, but whatever. So I'll put that online on MediaFire or whatever. Just go over to my Facebook page, and the link will be there. So this is Calamity. Keep it locked, keep it hardcore, all that good shit. And see you.